First of all, big compliment to you all. I think you survived up to almost 100 slides, so well done. And more coming. But I have only 5 to add, so you will survive, I know for sure. No, so a lot have been said about the data sharing part, and one of the things that I experienced working in the field of data is that it often looks like this, and it's also quite, today a lot of presentations were about, okay, somebody is looking for data and then they need a mechanism to give access to the data. That does bring in a couple of questions already between these two people. Can they find each other? Do they know who's out there? But in reality, what I noticed is that that small box, can I trust you, ends up with a ton of people also who wants to get involved in the discussion, and adding a bit of extra confusion there, saying, okay, that's nice, but I think it was already mentioned, the legal people do like to get involved when it comes to sharing data. And if I look into the European projects, but also the projects that we were involved in, for example, in the medical care, they had a PhD doing research for 5 years. 4 years were lost in that process in the bottom. And we keep on doing this over and over and over again in every project again. All the lessons learned, all the agreements that are being done in these kind of projects, we are writing down the policies, we're doing the legal stuff over and over and over again. So we do feel that there's a huge opportunity there to accelerate. And there a research project was being run before, and there, for example, Dex was also involved. So, and that was before my time, so especially a big shout out to them to start working on this. It was called AMDEX, to get an understanding how can we get this legal stuff incorporated with the data sharing stuff. Because you can end up agreeing on how you technically share the data, but if legal people keep telling you you're not allowed to do so, nothing will happen. So together with SURF, the University of Amsterdam and KPMG, they started working on a mechanism if we can translate legal articles into machine-readable text, and in that way can we turn this into a bit of an easier project. The fun thing is that I believe this was a successful project in the way that Dex has continued to work as a marketplace, and for AMSIX together with Luminous. And for AMSIX it was, okay, what could be the role for an organization that is used to doing governance? So within DMI, we became the governance party, and the way we approach this, I started looking, if we look at exchange, I believe we can learn a lot from the stock market. So if you look at the IX, how the stock market works, that's an area where when people enter that market, it's known who you're dealing with. You get assurance that when you do business, stuff is arranged, and people who know business, who know trade, are being active there, the banks. That's how I call now the marketplaces, and I believe the majority of the people here in the room act more or less like a bank, helping organizations to get their data on the market and to get value from it. And we position our project named as the floor, so offering a floor where people can trade, so that you can find the right data under the right terms, where it's an open market, so that you can transparently see what data is being shared under what conditions, so what are the policies that are allowed, and so that you can also automate and enforce a couple of those conditions, either on a marketplace level, so marketplaces can do it themselves. If you want to do this on a market level, this can also be facilitated by the floor. If you look at this, DMI is an example of this, and we ran into a couple of things here, is that also today I hear this, and this is not like telling you how it works. I also learned now these couple of years, but we tend to talk from the right to the left. So data should be open, data should be shared, how can we open up this data? But I don't hear a lot of I put it the other way around, I don't hear a lot of demand. So where are the people who tell us, I need this data? Can anybody help me find this data? Because I find it very difficult to think up front what kind of data people need, under what conditions they need, and what kind of format. So where is the demand side? And we now experiencing this with municipalities, that we are trying to assume, so what kind of data do you need? I more and more get the feeling municipalities don't know. Municipalities have a challenge in city developments, and they just want to be helped, and they want an application that can help them to build faster. So there's something or someone in between that need to help them. Okay, if this is your assignment, I can help you to gather the right data on the right condition, on the right terms. And that's where recipes come into play, where people on the floor can say, I have an assignment, I have a market, I can help municipalities, but then I need people to supply me the data. Who's willing to offer this? And one of the things that we now see is that also when it comes to all the tools that we get from the European Union, those data acts where you can explicitly ask or get your data as a municipality, this should be something that you should be able to delegate to people who know their stuff, that you as a commercial party can help a municipality to get the data for them. Because what we run into, there are a ton of municipalities that the person who is responsible for purchasing IT product is also responsible for buying kindergarten stuff, to buy paperwork. They don't know this kind of stuff. It's too much. So I believe there's an opportunity for the market to help there and to really help them find the solutions they want. So that's what we are now experiencing, and to be honest, also trying within the DMI ecosystem to get this demand up and running. And there also a shout out already to the people here to get ready for the supply, either via marketplaces that can help you in a bank kind of function, or to be able to trade yourself. And in the combination with iShare, we experienced this as a very powerful combination. So what we've done is onboarding. Once you enter the floor, DMI is already checking a ton of stuff together with iShare. Once it's implemented, once somebody's registered in the satellite, we continue to monitor that via those policies I mentioned earlier, to those policy templates. If you look at the agreeing part, we work together with the marketplaces. They do their fair share of policy checking. We do this on an ecosystem level. And if something, and we will continue to monitor if the conditions kept being met on a transaction level. And from there, I'm not going to bore you too much with all these kind of images, but also do the monitoring and continuously checking. And if there's, for example, an issue from an auditing perspective, there is an audit trail. That's why KPMG, for example, is very interested that you can check, okay, what kind of evidence is being provided and how can we check if this is properly being followed, and so that you can really do transparent transactions. I promise you not too many slides, so that's where I wanted to stop and to invite you to join the DMI ecosystem as well to help those municipalities. Thank you.